artwork? Is it Mignola? Is it Frank Miller? Or is it the classic Jack Kirby? We shall find out.
Welcome to the Comics Unlimited podcast with your hosts, Glenn B. Fleming and Ted Davis.
Hello, everybody. I am Ted Davies. I am an artist and author best known for Retrieve and Grimm 101 and this crazy publication that we've got going on. We'll talk about that in a minute. Who's this guy?
I'm Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, artist, and publisher, and I'm currently drawing Hatch and working on that crazy publication. That guy next to me is just shown.
Yep. We got Hatch advertised on this great book, too. Comics Unlimited is why we're here. We talk a lot about, I don't know if you can see this or not. I should probably get there we go.
Yeah, issue 10 is currently on sale on Amazon. And
yes.
I'm just in the middle of doing issue 11.
Oh, you are already? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to get on that because I've got an article I've got to submit for you. If you approve it or not, I don't know.
We've got a great. I've not seen it yet, but I'm saying it'll be great because I know it will be of a convention film Q&A with Mike Noble, the guy who drew Captain Scarlet falling off the tower.
Yeah, that we did. That we just showed on a prior show. If you haven't seen that one, go back and check it out. But yeah, absolutely. Awesome. We want to talk about Cashman's Comics real quick, our sponsor real quick. Let me find him where he's at here. And there we go. Cashman's Comics, check out everything that they're doing at Bay City, Michigan. John's been there 26 years with Petey, not with Petey the Guard Dog, but Petey the Guard Dog is the mascot of the comic book shop. If you need any new comics, check out everything that he's doing. If you want to buy my work, he's also got it there as well. So check it out, cashmanscomics.com. I want to say good morning to everybody, too. While we got a full queue. Joe Dog's in the house. Carl, Donna, Eric, Ryan. Thank you guys for liking and sharing this. I appreciate it very, very much. We do. Today, we're talking about three masters. These guys are established. Two are still living, and one has passed. One is I consider him one of the greatest artists ever. But as you know, because you did a book with him, you visited him twice in his home, and Jack Kirby, Mike Mignola, and Frank Miller. We're going to be talking about today. So hopefully you guys like the topic that we're talking about today. What we decided is that, could we do, if you had to do a black and white comic, if that's the only way that you could produce one, you couldn't do it in color, who would be the three artists that would be, I think, the best in my opinion? And I think you and I both Frank Miller, we talked about Sin City on a prior show. Check that out in the catalog as well. Jack Kirby is a staple here. So it's kind of a normal thing that we talk about weekly about Jack. And Mike Mignola. I mean, go ahead.
I think it depends on the kind of thing that you want, because I could say, like I just said, Mike Noble with the interview coming up in Comics Unlimited. When I see his work in black and white, it's wonderful. And Frank Bellamy, it works. Yeah. The color is an addition. Now, if we go back to American comics and Kirby and Frank Miller and Matt Mignola,
Mike,
their work is totally different. But it's the color to me in an American comic was just to make it a bit more appealing. I'm talking about, when I was a kid in the 60s, 70s, it's not a vital part of it. So the artwork had to be really good. And I would say that Frank Miller falls into more of a layout artist, the way he works, really sketchy, no pun intended, pencils. The red, and somebody like, was it Klaus Janson inks him? I'm not sure. Whoever his inker was, Tom Palmer or somebody, they embellish more. But with Mike Mignola, I've seen his work, and it's final work. The same with Kirby. Kirby didn't do a lot of inking, don't forget.
Right.
So it depends.
Joe brought it to another level.
And Frank Giacoya and these people, Mike Royer. Mike Royer is a fabulous inker. So it depends what you're looking at. but I understand what you said about the black and white. And
do you think that well, I mean, your era, I mean, all you're what, 20 years? You're not quite 20 years my senior, are you?
I'm
yeah, I
not
guess
20 years your senior, no.
Almost.
No,
anyway,
16.
Anyway, I'm sorry to hit a chord.
Doesn't make me wrong.
No, what I was going to say was you were raised in you had black and white photography. You were raised in black and white TV. Yeah, black and white TV. Did you?
Yeah,
really?
well, no.
Later,
listen. We had color television, but we didn't have one.
That's what I'm getting at, though. So black and white actually has been a medium that my dad did a ton of black and white photography. So did my wife, Christine. She, for years, developed film and everything else. And that medium is so, I just thought maybe because it's a natural.
I'll show you some photographs from when I was 6 and cine film, and they're all in color.
Okay, cool.
So,
all right, that's cool.
So that's not right. But go on, carry on.
I think that the black and white noir setup is awesome. Anything like that in that genre. But Mike Mignola, I will say it right here. Frank Miller's awesome. Jack Kirby's great, but Mike Mignola is the man when it comes to black and white. There's no better.
Okay.
None better. Now Eric says Peter Laird. I don't know that. I probably have seen his work. I can't offhand. I can't. I don't know.
You see, I don't, like I said, I don't think you can throw Jack Kirby in there because he was a penciler.
Okay.
So I think it's a bit flawed what you're saying there. I'm not saying Matt Mignola's not brilliant, because he is. He's fantastic. But we don't see his pencil work, do we? We don't see his pencil work inked by somebody else. Kirby was a penciler. It wasn't not that he couldn't ink, because he did ink early on, but he didn't have time for that. He was just penciling all the time because he was so creative. Where Mike Mignola and Frank Miller produce finished piece of artwork.
Maybe. Well, okay. Let me backtrack then. In black and white, though, it's not necessarily whether they inked it or didn't ink it. What would be the best way to what would be out of the 3 that we picked, Mignola, Miller, and Kirby, looking at them at the scope of it, whoever inked them, whatever.
Yeah.
Who would be the best looking black and white comic? And anybody can talk about this in the queue.
Well,
Peter Laird, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, that's. I'm sorry, duh. Yeah, Peter. Yes, absolutely, I agree.
Depends what you're talking about. Are you talking about style, or are you talking about storytelling? Because there's none better than Kirby at telling the story.
Well, I think it goes hand in hand.
Not necessarily.
I'm not talking about bubbles or anything like that. Word bubbles. I'm just talking about art. Straight up.
I'm not talking about word bubbles. I'm talking about the storytelling. Not the words. I'm talking about the telling the story in the pictures. So,
All right. So, well, let's get right to the meat of it.
Some examples, yeah.
Let's get right to the meat of it. What can you tell me about that story? Don't read the words. Just tell me about the story.
Well, there's some big guy with a sword looking at the guy who's having a fight with somebody else. I don't know. I'd have to, the Black Panther guy. Go on.
Okay.
Let's see Matt Mignola's epic.
Okay.
That's a guy with his hands that are too big, with 2 pieces of chorizo stuck to his head, fighting a demon.
Hockey pucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Fighting a demon.
So a demon fighting a demon.
If he's a demon, yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever he is. Okay.
Yeah. And this is me in the morning, except I don't smoke. Grumpy guy getting out of bed, pissed off with everything, and excuse me, and I don't smoke, so
right.
Well, that's basically me.
That's
as I used to look when I was 32.
Right. We'll go back to each one of these pictures, but I think that is I think probably one of the most. That's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
To be serious, I think that of the 3 samples you just showed, that one is probably the best one because it's so simple and the line work is just literally black and white.
Yeah.
And the composition and everything about that is absolutely superb.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. This is. There's so much going on here. It's almost very busy, it's almost like Adderall. You pop some Adderall and then that's what I see that an artist. It looks so intense. There's just so much on the page. I don't even know where to begin.
But you know
because
what's great?
it is that it reminds me of the picture that Jack had in his studio. That not mural. That what was it? The which one I'm talking about, with all the different picture. Everything was, he had cars and he had trains.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It was
like a collage type of thing.
It was, and
but
that's the way he. I don't know. For this, it's great storytelling, but wow, I mean, there's just
what's
so
great
much.
about the best part about this panel to me is, you see the sword.
Yeah.
The guy looking around the door with the sword. Yeah. Well, that sword breaks the panel and makes the panel with the panther and the little guy. It makes it a different panel.
It does. I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But it is wonderful.
I
don't think there's any comparison, really. I think you just shown us 3 fantastic pieces of artwork.
Right.
I mean, look at that.
I mean, this is just. I mean, I could look at this all day. I find something new every time I look at it. And the power of what Mike does, and just like what Frank does, is there's less is more.
Yeah.
With Kirby, when we're looking at Kirby, it's just like boom. I mean, it's like
everything. Yeah.
It's just bam. It's so it's comics at its finest. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at these very almost simple, I mean, the movements, it's almost like an S shape to begin with. You from the top of the fist all the way down to the tail of the second demon there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your eye is just completely. It's
the
fantastic.
That left wing takes you back into the guy's chest, and his hand comes down, and his tail comes back and goes to his back, and then the girl or whatever it is has that clothing that pulls you in again. It's just great composition.
It is.
It's done by a master.
True illustration. Absolutely. Yeah. And then this, the view, the perspective draws you in right away. And I think we've all had those mornings. That almost looks like a hangover morning.
Do you want to see perspective? I'll show you perspective.
All right, here we go.
There's perspective. Look at that.
That's pretty good, man.
And
that would look good in black. That would look good in black and white.
Yeah, and that was all done by eye. And I got a telling off by Bob McLeod about that.
Yeah.
He told me off. He said me vanishing points were too far apart. Okay. And I said, well, if it looks good, George Perez said, if it looks right, it's probably right. So anyway.
Yep. I wasn't thinking Peter Laird, guys. Sorry. It's still early in the morning here for me. I wasn't thinking about Peter. I've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books falling off the shelves over here, and I wasn't even thinking about Peter's name. Anyway.
I don't think I've ever read a Teenage Ninja Turtle book.
I think you might need to. I think, I don't think we can do another show if you don't. So,
okay.
Says the guy who didn't know who Peter Laird was. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as storytelling, though, each of those panels that we showed, each have a separate story. Yeah. Each have a viewpoint of not perspective necessarily, but the bringing you into the picture.
Composition,
composition.
I think the samples you've shown there prove to me what a fantastic medium comics is.
Yes.
You've got 3 totally different styles of art, all vital.
Mm-hmm.
The story is there. You can see what's going on. But the way it's depicted, they're all different. And it's just short to me. It's like it's subjective, isn't it? I've said before, I don't rate Van Gogh too highly. Like his colors, but I don't think his paintings are very good. But I can see why people might, and I'd still want one on my wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
But his wouldn't be the work I would choose. But it just goes to show how, especially with the Kirby drawings, how the color isn't necessary because they reproduce so good in black and white.
Right. I had to go back up the queue a little bit here. If you could own a black and white print, Ryan Permissionist, and you don't already own, what would it be and why?
A print.
Go ahead.
A print.
Just a black and white piece of art. Let's say
if I could own, on the top of my head, any comic artwork, it would be that. I think it's from Fantastic Four 72, the full page Surfer over New York.
Oh yeah.
Do you know which one I mean? Where he's flying over New York and you can see underneath him.
We've got it here, I think.
Yeah, I think
we
I
have
think
it.
it's 72.
I think I've got it.
It's a
Hold on.
wonderful piece of artwork.
I don't know if I've got it or not. Let's see. I think it might. I don't know if it's this one or not. Let me bring this up here. Just give me a second, guys. Hold on.
But I think that the comic has to work in black and white to start with anyway. Like I said, the colours just added. But if you do, with the British greats that I mention all the time, Bellamy and Mignola, they work in colour.
Is it that? It's
no,
in our
not
back.
that.
That's not
No,
that one. Okay.
No, that's from the
Sorry.
That's from the graphic novel. But even so, when Bellamy and Mignola's artwork is produced in black and white, it still works.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's mainly about the composition and you know, all that kind of thing.
Understandable. But I think that's, you know, I don't know on my end. I think that if I had one drawing, it would probably be I really like Mike Mignola, the Dracula series that he did. If I could get a couple pieces from that that he did with I can't let's see, I'm trying to think, Godfather director Coppola. So I would have he did that with Coppola. He did the set designs, he did all but the comic book's brilliant. Chris ended up getting me the set for my birthday a couple years ago, and I think it's just, if I could get a black and white of that this is right before Hellboy, and I think it was one of the best. Or Gotham by Gaslight, any of the black and white originals from that would be before pre Hellboy. That would be my thing.
Yeah, so I think what piece of artwork you didn't artist we've not mentioned would be is it Bernie Wrightson? Did he die?
Oh yeah,
that Frankenstein stuff is absolutely. But he's not a comic artist. He's an illustrator, you know. But yeah, Bernie Wrightson. There you go.
Yep.
And
draw circles around all three. Wow.
I didn't read.
That's quite a statement, Lewis. That's quite a statement.
I didn't read that in the comments because I can't see the comments on the screen, so I didn't read that. But that Frankenstein stuff is absolutely incredible.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant. But like I said, each one of us have a different viewpoint, and that's
it's
great.
all good. It's all good.
It's all
good.
Yeah. Because we're all getting inspired that way. Eric says, you know, I think you probably, Glenn, I think you probably would have liked. The thing I love about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it is a literally a dining room table drawn book. I mean, this is two guys working at it and building, and they built a huge empire off of this idea. And
they pulled a great coup on, I think it was on the BBC, didn't they?
Oh,
did you hear about that?
So
with
too,
with the animated series. They signed up for an animated series, and wanted putting in something like this. They wanted the series 2 put into the contract, and I think they got paid again or something. And the BBC signed it because they thought it wouldn't go anywhere. There wouldn't be a second series, and there was. And they got all this something like that. They pulled something. It was really great.
Okay, so quote the Ravens also says, I got to go with Wrightson, Wally Wood,
Hal Foster. Yeah.
Okay.
Hal Foster was a big influence on Kirby.
Yeah. All right. That's good, Lewis.
I'll take that. He drew Prince Valiant, didn't he, Hal Foster?
Yeah. I think he did.
Fabulous. That's right. Beautiful stuff, yeah. Beautiful.
And it is. I mean, a whole nother level. I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah. It's illustration. It's not.
It's
not cartoon. It's illustration.
Lewis also said it's a pinnacle work, but yeah, he's done a lot of different black and white work. That's awesome. Well, good. And I've a lot of these I remember now. I wasn't thinking about them, but even George Perez did nice stuff. I think that we've got a few that are.
And look at the line work of somebody like Kurt Swann. His figures are a bit stiff, but his line work is beautiful.
Right.
And we could go on forever because it's like you say, it's all subjective, and this is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's like your favorite football player or whatever, isn't it? You know, some people like him, some people like him, and they're not wrong, are they?
Yeah. Well, there's the best soccer team's Wrexham. So sorry, but.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah.
Did you see Ryan Permisson? Ryan Permisson.
I saw him a few weeks ago. But
Yeah, right. Yeah. Did you see that Wrexham just got purchased though? They've got the whole. Have you you heard anything about that? Hollywood came in and
who
come
bought
on,
them? Who bought
come on.
them?
Well, you got to do your homework. I'll give you the first name,
No.
Ryan.
Ryanair.
No, he's an actor. It's going to leave it alone, Ryan, and then you can figure it out. He and another gentleman from Hollywood bought, and now they're doing a documentary series on the
Not
Wrexham
Craig
soccer.
Hall.
No, not Craig Hall. Craig does know him though, but no, not Craig Hall.
Right.
Not yet. Anyway.
Ryan Gosling, the Canadian guy.
Nope. Close.
The guy who played Neil Armstrong for some reason is I always thought Neil Armstrong was an American, but there you go.
Anyway.
Yes.
So you can do your homework on it, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that series. But anyway, the biggest thing though on this particular show though was Mignola, Frank Miller, and Kirby. So if you push Kirby aside for a minute, since what you're stating, he didn't, his pencils are pencils, but they weren't. Yeah. If it was inked, you still think that Kirby would be the best storyteller out of all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And but it really, I think that the stories too are different. I mean, I think folklore wise and everything else, Mike Mignola beats hands down Frank Miller, anything with Frank Miller, but that's me. But I love Frank Miller. So
I would agree. If I wanted to one of those two to produce something for me, if I could choose one, I should say, I would choose Mike.
Yeah.
Because as I said, Frank Miller's work is great, but it's more layout. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. And I've seen, and again, Mike does a lot of watercolor work. So that's, again, another reason why I like him so much. But the stories, though, that he tells, the folklore, the way everything works throughout his stories and how they're entangled. A lot of the stories are crossed over. And
does he write them as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's incredible the amount of history and the knowledge he's got with folklore. I mean, there's other writers too that come in, but just awesome. Let's see. Lewis also says, well, Perez isn't well known for black and white, nor Neil Adams or Byrne. I'm thinking about guys who have specific. Okay. And that's a good point too. That's a good point. And this, I was just saying that in this idea of this show, it would be if you had an artist that you think would be best in the black and white format.
Right. Well, let me throw, if I understand what they're saying there, and I agree, I'm going to throw Frank Bellamy in his Garth series.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah.
These are serious artists.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. Yeah.
Really are good.
Maybe we should just do Comics Unlimited in black and white. I think maybe that'll be good.
Yeah, maybe
we could actually do a series, a book just on black and white artwork. That could be very good. A noir series that would be awesome. I would love to do that.
We could do that. Yeah. There's some nice stuff to go at.
Yeah,
we'll get Matt Mignola to do the cover.
You know what? That would be it. That would be the pinnacle, man.
I get to keep the artwork though.
No, sorry. I'm
the boss. I get to keep the artwork.
No, it's got to pass by Michigan before it flies over the UK. So sorry. So yeah, Lewis also says Bellamy is out of the top 10 for sure. So that's awesome. Yeah, if you guys could like and share this out, I would appreciate it. If you already did, thank you very much. But I think that we've got some really good conversation on this. I don't know if we can make any comic black and white now, really. I mean, you could before or two, I guess, but now it's a click of a button. So
well, this is what I said to you before, that Kirby's work and Buscema and all these people and Mike Mignola, the artwork is done in black and white, and the color is added, manually later. Yeah. But with people like Frank Bellamy and Mike Noble, the British artists, those particular, and Don Lawrence, they paint the artwork. They, like I do with Hatch, it's always going to be for color. And but having said that, my Hatch pages do work, I think, when they're distinct. So the color. I mean,
mine don't really. You really have to have the color because the watercolor. It's the whole point of it.
Yeah. It just. But you paint. You're a painter, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know. But and I think you should do more line work.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll make a note of that. This is some line work. I mean, this is. I wonder how long it took him to create this. I mean,
to
God.
draw it. Yeah. It's mind blowing because it would all be there. I don't think Mike Royer has added anything, specifically.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
Because I seem to remember
incredible.
Kirby said to Mike Royer, "Don't change anything." So if you didn't change anything, it must have already all been there.
Yeah.
But I've said before, I just wish I could stand behind Jack Kirby for a day and watch him do this stuff, because I bet it would be absolutely incredible.
You were closer than any of us ever were. So
well, I stood at the desk with him, but he didn't draw anything, and I didn't ask him. But
I'm just looking at the different line.
This Miller piece is so well composed. The way that smoke brings you down, the way the blinds at the top stop your eye going off and out the window,
and they've got just enough light coming through each of the blinds, and then it's very
Ditko-esque, isn't it? Those blinds.
It is. It's almost like if I took my glasses off, it would be. You know what I mean? It's almost like a blurry. It's not blurry, but it's crazy.
And it's a blinding light because you can tell, because if you look on his left, our right, the light coming through creates the end of the bed end in shadow.
Yes.
It's absolutely brilliant.
It's framed and it's framed in itself. I like each one of them. I like, Mignola's my favorite, but I really like each one of them. Yeah. I mean, this in itself, the dark creature in shadow in the foreground is just, it's so it should block you, but it actually brings you in even further. I don't know, it's such a
that's the placing of the blacks, isn't it? If you look at 2000 AD artist Mike McMahon, he draws similar to this. He's sort of blocky and a bit scratchy, a bit gritty.
Love it.
Yeah, fantastic work. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And even the way that the statue is, I think it's a statue. Just it's amazing, just amazing. I could look at black and white work like that all day long. I mean, I love it. Let's see. Oh, Frank Miller is doing Ronin. Forget what's doing the finishes. Just got a preview. Yeah, I saw that. I really think that that's going to be an interesting thing. I think that what Frank is doing right now with his publishing company is Frank Miller's doing a publishing company now. I think it's going to be. I know he's older, and I know there's reasons why he's doing it. But man, what a great, good luck to him, because I think that is good health to him. I think it's just terrific. Go ahead.
I don't know whether you know this, the answer to this, but. How many pages a day do Miller and Mignola do?
I don't know. I have no idea. Mike, it varies. I think.
Yeah, I can't imagine Frank Miller spending too much time on his pages, because, like I said, they just break down.
This is what Lewis said also. Philip Tan is actually doing the drawing for the final art for Ronin. So that's because he is older. I mean, Frank did all the layouts though, so that's cool. And again, if he does a cover, I'm good with that. Mike doesn't do all the interiors on his art, on his books anymore. He does some, but not all of them.
So what's he doing then? He
does the covers, does the stories, and then he might do like 3 or 4 pages in the comic, which is kind of nice that they're kind of spread out through the comic book, which I think is kind of cool, because you're kind of going back and forth, and it's a little bit like another. I don't think that Bill Sienkiewicz would be great in black and white, because his colors are so cool. He does some really amazing color work. But it's very like Bill Sienkiewicz does with some of his pages where they're different. You'll flip it and then the characters look different. It's kind of neat in a way. And it's done on purpose. It's not done to be off the sequential art, but it's done on purpose. I love it. That's Lewis was saying that Frank's got vision problems now. Yeah, I thought he might. Wow. So I didn't know if that was documented, but
I don't know whether you've seen Rogue Trooper, but there's a guy called Cam Kennedy who draws Rogue Trooper in 2000 AD. He drew the Light and Darkness War for DC.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's all in full color. He painted those. But his work on Rogue Trooper is absolutely superb, and he did a few Judge Dredd strips as well.
Yep.
But his work is brilliant in black and white. If you ever check out any 2000 AD, so Rogue Trooper especially, because with 2000 AD you'd get the one artist would draw one story, then you'd have a different artist the next story type of thing. So it moves about a bit, you know.
Yeah, I do think in today's world too, I think David Finch is incredible. He's an incredible artist, and Jim Lee. I mean, I can't say enough about. They're both very. I mean, visually, it's stunning to look at. I don't necessarily want to see it every day, but it's stunning. I mean, some of the stuff that they do. But
I saw a great convention footage of Neil Adams. He did a drawing. He was doing a drawing for someone, and then he inked it. And the size of the brush was like with the kind of brush that you paint a wall with. It was so huge, and he was doing these fine lines with it. He just charged this brush up, and he was doing these really fine lines.
Goes to show you,
just fantastic, you know.
Lewis was saying that Lewis knows a lot about the early stuff about Mike too. When Mignola started in the 1980s, Mignola did 3 pages a day. When he started doing Hellboy, it was 4. Now, because he's so busy outside of comics, it's not as much. I'm sure. I know that he's still pretty prolific, but I know the stories. Miller in the 19th. I'm sure he is. I would think so. Probably only for his own property, though. You know, his own shows and movies.
Right.
Miller in the 1970s, 80s was doing 3 to 5 pages a day. Yep.
Wow. That's
crazy.
Kirby. That's Kirby standard, isn't it?
Yeah, and those are just pencils, he said. So that's cool. And that's you know, again, I think pencils are, I mean, just the early stages of black and white, you know, art. So I could see when we were talking with John Celestri on the last Feed the Beast, the way that he sketches things out before he inks them, and that is, I think that's cool too. I think I would love to have a comic book just in that, you know, to read as well. You know, the behind the scenes stuff. I think that's a cool thing too. But as far as the 3 that we picked, though, Mignola I still think is my go-to, and I think he always will be. He is my Jack Kirby in a lot of ways, like we talked about. I think that's just my generation. I just think he is.
But don't forget, no Elvis, no Beatles.
Oh, right. No Kirby, no Mignola. Yeah, there's no question. There's no question. And,
but they're all great. They all carry that torch. They're all brilliant. They are wonderful.
Yeah, and that was one thing Lewis brings up too. Keep in mind, it was the assembly line era, and that's true. And they were just cranking them out, and you know, the rags, you know, the rags that they were producing, right?
Selling 1 million a month.
Yeah, right. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. But,
good conversation, man. Good conversation.
Yeah, we say the black. They have to work in black and white to begin with, because, like I said, unless you're doing a full color illustration, the color is added just to, you know, it's just to be there. You know, they don't need to be in color. Because I always one of the greatest things I got, or what happened for me was those essential books.
Okay.
Where for the first time I was seeing the artwork produced in black and white. All those great Fantastic Fours and Avengers and whatever that mainly that Kirby did. I got all the essential books, because that's the way it should be. And then I've not got any of these volumes, those big volumes for the full size stuff now. I've seen some of them. They're just incredible. And probably the best part for me of those pages is the whiteout, when you see that where the ink has been changed, awesome. And you see they've written over it and all that kind of thing.
You see the humanity, the mistakes in it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely
awesome.
Brilliant.
So yeah, if you guys are watching this on the replay, let us know what you guys think as far as the best artists are, because I'd love to hear it in the comments. There's a lot of people that might not like anything that we're bringing up right now in black and white, and you might have an artist that you really appreciate over the course of the years, a lot like a lot of the people in the queue did. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good. I think we're going to end it on that. That's a pretty good show, I think. I don't know if there's any like today though. It's a click of a button in a lot of cases now, and it's fine. You could do a noir book, I suppose, if you want to call it that, or a black and white book. I don't know.
Maybe we should do a black and white artist companion with Comics Unlimited.
Maybe
a standalone. Maybe get 5 artists and write articles and put artwork in.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, let us know, guys. Let us know about in the comments. What do you think about that? Albino Zulu I did in black and white, and I did it that way so that kids can color it in. I did that so that they're kind of involved in the process. And then I wanted that, and I'm going to continue to do that in that type of series. But I think that's cool because you're having interaction. Kids are actually getting more involved with the continuation of comics. Hopefully, even if it is just coloring it in. So.
Oh yeah, as long as any contribution they can draw on it as well if they want to, can't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Some do.
Right. Lewis said Byrne did upwards of 8 pages a day when he was doing 3 to 4 books a month in the mid 80s. At that point, he was drawing Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men at the same time. Wow. Yeah, I guess he would be.
Crazy.
Wow. That's nuts. That's just too much.
Andy was writing a lot of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, but I think you get to the point where you're in your career that you just reach that. And it's a plateau after everything else. It's got a plateau at a certain level, and then because you can't maintain that. It's just not, how long did Jack do it to maintain that level of
50 years?
Yeah. Yeah. And how long, and then he retired, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then he was gone. So how do you balance that out? So thank you guys for stopping in. Thanks, Glenn, man. That was good talk, man.
Yeah.
It's real good. And thank you for everybody, all the comments and everything. Thanks for liking and sharing this out. Check out everything we're doing on Ted Davies Artistry. If you don't know, it's for our first time here, please check us out because we do a lot of different things, a lot of different podcasts, like great podcasts like with Glenn B. Fleming here. Check out Comics Unlimited on Glenn B. Fleming's Amazon page. You can pick up the new one, Comics Unlimited number 10, both in digital and both in paperback. Excellent book. There's 100 pages in this one, right?
Yeah.
And it's running, I don't know, what's it in the UK? How much?
I think it's 6. Is it £6? I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly. £6 for digital, and then on the paperback is I know here it's in the States it's 12.
Yeah, it'd probably be. I think it's £9.99. I think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Something up there. Yeah.
Very affordable. We produce it every couple months, and next one's in the works now. So check out everything we're doing with that. Yeah, appreciate you, man.
I've done about 20 pages of the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, yeah, we'll get on that. I know there's a couple things I want to go over that, but we'll do it off here. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Enjoy yourselves this week. Read some Comics Unlimited. Talk to you.
Welcome to the Comics Unlimited podcast with your hosts, Glenn B. Fleming and Ted Davies.